Hey y'all, today's layout is brought to you by PageMaps. They posted some sketches for the month of May, and I was so happy to see that I picked one of their sketch ideas and made a layout. So I used Fresh Pick 2 by Photoplay. I don't know the year this came out. There was a Fresh Picked and a Fresh Pick 2. In the Fresh Pick 2, the color scheme is totally different. And I bought this last year at the Stamp and Scrapbook Expo, and I broke it out for the first time to make this layout. So I pretty much followed the sketch, and I'm going to talk about the layout and then tell the story. So I chose this piece of paper. It's like recipe cards and stuff, and I loved it so much I gutted it to save the interior of it because I wanted to use that recipe card side again, or this beautiful herbs. It's got dill, mint, basil. It's just such pretty colors. Then I took a piece of wood grain that was in the collection. Everything paper-wise was in the collection. So I took a piece of the wood grain and I cut it wider than the bottom piece of this pretty green leaf. It's either leaves or herbs, whatever you want it to be. And so then I put the wood grain and then this green paper and then created a border. And the border on the layout, it was like a row of houses, and I thought that was absolutely adorable, and I'm keeping that in my head because that's a great way to use like papers that have a lot of houses on it. You can fussy cut them or a strip of houses. It was absolutely adorable, and that's what attracted me to the sketch. So I made my border from this was on the cut apart sheet. These little strips here, I just cut them apart and then put them down, and then underneath that I used this sticker strip that was on the sticker sheet to kind of create a little ledge. And then for my photos, 3 photos, these are 3x4s, and this was a 4x6 that I cut down. And see, when I printed this by 3x4, it did cut off the edges a little bit, and that was fine with me because I have the full shot right here. And then underneath that is a piece of this plaid paper that was in the kit that I did a border punch at the top, and then this is not a full sheet running down. This is a piece, this is a piece, and this is a piece. So that saves you on some of your paper. And then this little piece, this little eyelet material was on one of the cut apart cards. It was not a full piece of paper. There was a design on it, but just using the end fit perfectly in here, and I did a little bitty scallop border there. This title was on the sticker sheet along with the fork and the spoon and the yum, and I just used the fork as an exclamation point. And then this was also a cut apart, and I think it had a picture of something under here. I can't remember what it was, but it really didn't go with my photo, so I just covered it up with this yum. Topped it off with some enamel dots, and my title came from some stickers I had in my stash along with the enamel dots. So the story, I don't know how long it's been, how long ago, but I was obsessed with poutine. Poutine is fries, French fries, gravy, and cheese curds. Love French fries, love gravy, love cheese curds. So when I found out I was going to Canada, I said, I've got to have some poutine. And I told Scylla, who I stayed with before and after the event, Scylla and her husband, I said, we have got to find some poutine. So when we went to Toronto and we were checking into the hotel, you know, you had like several lines and people behind the desk checking folks in. And when we got up to the line, Scylla asked, where can we get some good poutine? And he just kind of looked at us like he didn't know how to answer. And the lady in the line next to us heard us, and she leaned over and said, Montreal. Well, we weren't anywhere near Montreal, so that wasn't possible. And I said, okay, where can we find some mediocre poutine? And he still didn't give us an answer. So that kind of gave us a little clue. We got checked in, put our bags in the room, and went on Google to find poutine near me. So we found this little eatery that had poutine, they had tacos, and they had hamburgers. So we go there, order our food, and I think this was the large size. I should have got the small, but you know, I was so excited about poutine, and I got a taco. Priscilla got some poutine and a cheeseburger. Her cheeseburger was good. My taco was good. The poutine was okay. And so this is from the store, from the little restaurant we went to. And you can see I did the little circle. I cut out a circle and cut out the inside, and then just clipped a little piece of the paper that matches this background paper, and put my little dash through it like no. Because while we were eating, Priscilla said, I said, well, how do you like this poutine? She tried it once before and didn't care for it. She gave it another try, and she was like, this gravy tastes like jarred gravy. And it did. It was fine, but it did taste like jarred gravy, canned gravy, not homemade gravy. And she said, I'm just used to my husband's gravy because his is so flavorful and so hearty. So we finished our food, left, did the weekend event, and then we were headed back to her house Sunday evening, because I stayed with them Sunday evening and flew out Monday. And she called her husband on her phone, you know, he was over the Bluetooth, to let him know we were on our way home. And he said, okay, I'll have the poutine ready when y'all get here. And I screamed in delight. And she said she didn't know that was going to be a surprise. But I was so tickled to death, and I was so excited for that car ride. It was about hour and a half, hour 45 minutes to get back to New York and to eat some homemade poutine. So her husband, she had texted with her husband, and he made homemade fries. He got some cheese curds, and he made such good gravy. And I'm like, oh, I know what she's talking about. It was fabulous. It was so good, and it was so sweet of them to do that. And it just tickled me, and it still tickles me, and it's going to tickle me every time I look at these photos, because here is the homemade poutine with the homemade fries, the homemade gravy, and my gosh, give me a straw. I want that. So, we're planning on doing this again at the next event in November of 2026, and I believe we'll have another friend joining us, and I'm hoping some homemade poutine is going to be on the menu. Hint, hint. It was just so good. So I wrote up some journaling, and I'm somehow going to have to abbreviate it here, But if I need to, I might put a piece of paper or a little something behind here so I can tell the longer story, because that was so special to me, and I really appreciated it, because it was just awesome. That was an awesome weekend, an awesome trip, and I'm still, here we are in May, and I still can't put into words what that whole event, the time that I got to spend with Scylla. I got to be in her house, in her craft room, and they were so gracious and such wonderful hosts that I'm still in my mind just processing everything that went on. So that is a story behind the photos and a little bit more about my trip, because I said, in my video where I talked about the event, I had said I would elaborate more on some of the outside things that happened, because it would have been too long of a video. So that is with the that is it for the layout share. But I just wanted to chat for a minute, because we just had International Scrapbook Day weekend, and I got online with some friends, and we just had great conversations. We scrapbooked. We talked about life. We talked about our hobby. We talked about our families, and sometimes we didn't talk at all. And we talked about the sales, and, what's on sale, what did everybody buy. And I am proud to say that I did not purchase anything over the weekend. Did I look? Yes. Did I want to purchase? Yes. But as I sit in my room and I look at what I have, and I was working on layouts from the March event. I have a ton of new product from that. I signed up for the Crop and Create Delivered, so I have a ton of new product coming for that. My room is always in disarray, always a work in progress. Not much work has been done on it lately. But I said, you know what? You don't need it. Plus, I'm going in July to the Stamp and Scrapbook Expo, and I knew I was going to shop there. I always kind of do a big shop there, because some of the booths have really great deals and discounts, and there's a difference between looking at a product online and looking at a product in person, and it makes you want to buy more. So I refrained, and I was proud of myself for refraining. But if you bought and you shopped, I am tickled for you. I would love to hear and see what you bought. If you do YouTube videos, share your channel in the comments, because I love to look at what people buy and what sales they got, and I love to hear their excitement when they get it and they share it. I just love all of that aspect of it. So, or share below what you did. If you did anything for the weekend, if you got to craft, tell me what you did. It was a great weekend, and I so look forward to it and really enjoyed it. So that's it for today's video. We'll see you next time. Bye.